What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 10-7 MMA show. Sorry, we're a couple minutes late there, but we got Johnny Monday in the comments already. He said, "What's good? Jose and Justin? I'm excited for another 10-7 live." So are we. And we have a big week finally after people have been really crapping on this UFC event from last weekend, which it did have some interesting highlights, actually, which we should probably touch on at the beginning, namely Gamrot 1. That's really important. We are going to talk about Jordan Leavitt later. We're going to talk about Maycee Barber. But people overall were not very excited about this UFC event last Saturday. But I think we should be very excited about UFC 316 coming up this Saturday. So it's official. We are back in fight week. Justin, are you still in Michigan, by the way?
Yeah, I'm in Michigan till tomorrow.
Got it. Okay. So welcome from Michigan. That's where me and Justin are both from, which is pretty cool. And let's get into the mix. We got a lot of things to talk about. Western says, "Oi, what's up, Western?
Oi.
Welcome back to the show." Okay. Now we're going to start at the top with the main event that's coming up this Saturday. Justin and I were talking about this over the weekend. This is kind of like what I put on the thumbnail for today's show, but I actually bet, nothing crazy, but I put a little money down on Sean O'Malley, 270 plus. That means apparently if Sean O'Malley wins, I get $540. Now, Justin, let's talk about this because it's kind of fascinating to me. Like the odds makers and how they position fights. If we remember the first time that Sean O'Malley and Merab fought, Sean O'Malley was favored to win. Most people thought that was what the odds makers had. And then we had the fight and Merab won and whatever. Now they're fighting again. Sean O'Malley has had time to rest and to recover. He no longer has a torn labrum. And obviously Merab has gone on and did what he did against Umar. But now the odds have totally swung the other way. Now, does that make sense to you that the odds would swing this much just based because, Merab's had one fight in between while Sean O'Malley has been resting and recovering? Does that make sense to you?
He was just so dominant in the first fight. Like I didn't really see Sean get anything going, and it's all hearsay right now. If it is the things he's been doing in this camp really going to affect the outcome? Is his labrum really going to affect? Could it be better for that? So like going into the fight, they didn't talk about that thing. So straight from a skill standpoint, Sean O'Malley opens up as a big favorite, and after he gets dominated, it's not uncommon for that to go, but at plus 270 money, that's definitely the bet to go with. I don't think Sean's going to win, but I'm probably going to put a couple $100 on him.
I got to tell you, somebody who I listen to all the time is going to pick Sean O'Malley, and that's MMA Guru. I've actually heard a few people, like the vast majority of people, everybody's predicting Merab. Merab, what he's done is amazing. He's so dominant. His fight style, people don't seem to have an answer for it, but I've been hearing more and more people pick Sean O'Malley. Now, one of the points I made in the video is Merab himself said, I think on Michael Bisping's podcast, that he's finding it a little bit difficult to get the motivation to fight Sean O'Malley again. Now, first of all, I wanted to turn over to you. I don't know. I think we talked about rematches last time, but he did say he's finding it a little bit difficult. We do have that broken toe situation. Then I think about Sean O'Malley. Despite the pace that Merab put on him, which was crazy, Sean didn't really look winded from my recollection when they fought at Sphere last year. So I think Sean's cardio is probably pretty good. I think it's going to be substantially better this time because of the additional training and all the grappling he's been able to do. Last thing I want to say, I think last time, according to an interview I heard of Tim Welch, last time they would grapple like 20 minutes a week, something crazy, because they couldn't do much else. Now they're doing 6 days of grappling and jiu-jitsu training. So with all this being said, I know you think the bet is fair. I know you're still picking Merab. Where would you, if you had to put a percentage on how likely you think it is for Merab to win, given everything that I just said, what would you say?
He's probably like a 65% favorite. Yeah, it's all talk. You know what I mean? Like it's you got to show up. You have these big claims. Hey, I'm not smoking pot. I'm off social media. He's doing that things, but is that really gonna play a factor in this, or his torn labrum, in his hip? Is that really gonna play a factor? How much of a factor did it really play in the first place? And Tim Welch and Sean are so smart, man, and big claims need big results, man. And if he goes out there and loses a fight like he did the first time, everything he says and everything we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, unfortunately, is going to be discredited. And that's why I don't really like to generate an opinion about that stuff, because again, it's all hearsay. He's not going to come in and say, well, I had a shitty fight camp the first time, and I'm feeling kind of shitty this time, he's going to do everything and go above and beyond to, and that it's positive affirmation towards himself too. And that's what champions do. Even when things are get tough, we try to be positive. And that's honestly like I think really separates the greats and the average guys. You know what I mean? There isn't much. There was a study done with like the best tennis players in the world, and you may have seen it, the number one tennis player and the number 25th tennis player. It's like their skill set, their speed, their reaction time was very, very similar.
Hmm.
But the difference was every time the 25th ranked player would miss a shot or make a mistake, he'd get down on himself. You know what I mean? Like, oh fuck,
Mm.
But the number one guy is being like Sean O'Malley's doing. He's giving himself, nope, it's okay. I got the next one. I'll get the next one. Trying, essentially getting him to believe into their own system. And I think Sean O'Malley's doing a really good job with that, especially quitting marijuana, man. That's tough. But is it really going to play that much of a factor? There's a bunch of fighters that swear up and down that marijuana gives them better lungs, and I don't agree with it by any means. But I mean, some fighters believe this, man, and some guys never gas out. And I mean, you look at Nate, look at the Diaz brothers, man. I mean, perfect example. Like those guys never gas out, and just, I mean. Yeah, I don't care if he's wrestling 6 days a week. I wrestle 5 days a week right now, and I can't keep up with Marab's pace. And that's the thing. Like, it's just Marab's going to bring a different pace for 25 minutes than anybody he can bring into the gym. Now, what he could do is what we do at the gym. So sometimes when we have a high output guy, we'll bring multiple guys. So say I'm training for the fight, you'll come in, and then Dennis will come in, and then Roman will come in, and you guys will switch on me every minute. So we have that intensity because, again, Marab is very, his cardio is unnatural, man. Nobody else has that kind of output. Nobody shoots 50 times in a fight and continues to go. That just doesn't happen. He's an anomaly, and I think it'd be really hard to simulate that kind of output.
One last question I have on this fight that I was thinking about over the weekend as well. Merab doesn't have very many submissions. He dominates, he smothers, he picks guys up over and over and slams them down, but he doesn't usually get any submissions or knockouts, or at least not for some time. So the other way I was thinking about it, and I get your 65% chance, but just based on the last fight to some extent. But at the same time, the way that I was thinking about it, you've mentioned before, Sean is such a sniper. Sean has amazing footwork, arguably some of the best footwork we've ever seen. So that gives him 25 minutes to land a couple sniper shots to get Merab and that's one of the things Tim Welch just said too, is that Merab keeps his chin up. He's basically ready to be knocked out with the right shot. So does that, now thinking about it from that vantage point, he's got 25 minutes just to land a couple good shots, or maybe even just one good shot. Does that sway you in any last way? Or are you sticking to that 65% chance for
No,
Merab to win?
I'm sticking to the 65 because everybody in the UFC has a puncher's chance. And although Sean O'Malley has much better precision than most fighters, and he is a sniper from afar, almost like Jose Aldo, Conor McGregor, kind of sniper power that kind of reminds me of when you see when Conor McGregor knocked out Jose Aldo. That's the kind of sniper power I think Sean O'Malley has at
Yep.
his weight class. But again, you talk about 25 minutes. How long are they going to be on their feet? What if Marab takes him down and he has 5 minutes to work or 7 minutes to work and gas tank and slipping? And there's so many variables to say that that the odds should swing the other way because of a puncher's chance.
That's fair. Well, either way, see, I love these discussions.
I'm putting money. I'm putting money on Sean, just to let you know. Like this
Sure.
is the thing. Like this betting and odds. Marab is a huge favorite right now. There's no value in that because he can get knocked out. And Sean O'Malley, I mean, at plus 270, dude. Like I'll probably put like $400 on to win 1,000 or something like that because it just has to. You just got to get lucky once, man. Just like you're talking about that puncher's chance. I think the odds are very, very favorable to take the positive money.
Yes, so I picked correctly. I'm not a bettor by any means. I pick usually with my heart. I want Sean O'Malley to win, even though I am a fan of Merab. But I gotta say, people who are crapping on this card, and crapping on the main event in particular, I think it's very exciting because I think there's a lot of these questions that are going to be answered on Saturday. It's a fascinating thing to discuss. We could probably talk another 20 minutes about it. So I think it's awesome. I'm really happy that I got that bet in with those odds. I have a feeling the odds are going to slide back over the week. We shall see. But anyways, all right, let me read through a couple comments. We got a bunch of things in the chat.
Before you do that, I made a video about it. What Sean has to do to win this fight, and I'm going to stick by that. So if you guys could take a look at that video and tell me what you guys think. I think Sean's going to have to play off his back foot. But anyways, go to your comments.
Okay, and we're definitely going to post that. Louisa, who normally helps us with some of the editing, she's off today, but she'll be back 100% tomorrow. So
Oh,
if I
awesome,
can't
awesome,
get it,
awesome.
if I can't get it
Nope,
up
no worries.
myself, yeah,
I
we'll get it
wasn't
up
sure if it
tomorrow.
was up yet or not. That's never mind.
Yep.
Scratch that.
No, it's all good, but we will have it up soon. All right, let me go
All
through a
right, yeah, no
couple of
worries.
these comments. Johnny Monday says, since the rematch was announced, I'm expecting him to come out swinging and be first this time. I've had Sean styling on Marab and KO. Okay, we shall see. He needs to be the hunter. Johnny also says,
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
oh, you wanted, yeah. Justin wants him to stay on his back foot. We'll see that video when it comes out. I'm curious to see Justin's insights as well. If Sean lets Marab dictate the pace again, he'll lose. What do you think? What happens is, well, I guess Justin's already answered that. He doesn't want O'Malley to be the aggressor. He wants him to actually hang back and counter. We also have Barat says, Justin, how much duration on zone 2 cardio do MMA pros do every week? Interesting.
Well, are you you're talking about like a fat burning zone, though? It really just depends on your weight. Are you talking about from like 120 to 150, compared to like redlining?
Well, Barat follows up by saying DDP said he does 2 hours a day, I think, which is interesting. So I'm not sure
Uh,
what he means by zone 2 cardio
so
either.
so I go through zone 1 to 3, one being obviously just as sitting as I am like right now, zone 2 being like a walking pace to maybe a gradual uphill pace to keep my heart rate anywhere from 115 to 130, which is a fat burning zone, and anything above 130 I would consider like 130 to 160. I guess you could go zone 3 there, and like a jogging pace, and then like a heart rate of 180. That would be like red line, and my red line's at like 188 or something like that. But anyways, if you're talking about the fat burning zone, like when I was getting down to 145, it would be a minimum. I'd walk on an incline treadmill for 1 hour to 3 hours a day, usually 3 hours on Saturday, because I could put the prelims on my phone and just walk on the treadmill and bet every single fight on the prelims to stay entertained. So walking on a treadmill for 3 hours fucking sucks, and your legs will be sore. But you'll burn. I was burning sometimes up to 1,500 calories, and again at a heart rate between 120 to 130, which is a perfect fat burning state.
You know what I'm going to do this summer? So I remember when the pandemic began, everything was shut down. All the gyms were shut down. Justin, you know how critical working out is for me to do it I'm not a professional athlete, but I have to do it every day for my mental health, for my sleep, for all these other things. And so when it was shut down, I was taking these long walks every day. I had nothing else to do. 45 minutes, hour and a half. And I loved it. And I couldn't do it on a treadmill, but I'd love this summer when my schedule slows down for my work and my tutoring to now start going back to like an hour and a half, 2 hour walks on the beach. That would be so dope. By the way, MGal4 Productions, I guess he's describing me and you. He says, Josefa is a super fan. Justin is a bad MRFer. Yeah, I think that's pretty
Ooh.
accurate. And we also have here, zone 2 is usually, Barras responding to you. Zone 2 is usually defined based on below 2.0 mml, OL, lact. I don't know what that is. This is based on Peter.
I'm not sure. That's too deep for me.
Way too deep for me. All right, cool. And Thomas Karina, last comment, and then we're going to move on. He said, what's up, fellas? Loving the show. Gamrot is nasty and has already beaten our Arman Sarukian. I agree. So one thing that I was surprised about I don't have this on the list today, but let's chat about it real quick. Gamrot got the decision over, I can't remember the guy who he fought. He fought somebody and got the decision. I'm curious to see where he's in the rankings tomorrow. But again, remember the news. Arman was offered Gamrot, and he said he was insulted by having to face Gamrot, and he rejected it. Also, probably not a favorable matchup given that Gamrot beat him. It was a very close fight. Some people say that Arman won, whatever, but I guess he didn't want that fight. I thought Gamrot should have called out Sarukian after that win, and be like, yo, you didn't want to fight me, you're afraid. Like, wouldn't that have been perfect? Like, why didn't he? He instead called out, I think, Patty, and he called out somebody else. I can't remember too. Oh, he also called out BSD, Benoit Saint Denis. So yeah, what do you think about those callouts? And do you agree? Like, shouldn't he have called out? Like, it was a perfect thing to call out Arman, get that fight, and then the winner could maybe get a title shot.
Yeah, because of the past beef, but maybe he sees something that he likes a better matchup with somebody else. Surukin's tough, dude. I
Yeah, he
mean,
is.
he's super tough. He's a dangerous fighter. Maybe he just sees other matchups as easier matchups. Because once you get to that top 10, man, everyone is just so good. And if you can find even a little cushion in a different opponent, like you want to take that because again, wins are the most important thing in MMA, and it does. Exciting fights are great, and the UFC will hold on to guys if they have a couple times if they have exciting fights. But if you're not winning, you're out. You're out. It doesn't matter who you are.
I mean, okay, so MGal4 Production says he wants Patty Armand. I don't want that fight. I don't want Patty against. I want Patty Ilya. I want Ilya to beat Charles Oliveira, and I want them to let Patty jump the line. And I want Ilya to call Patty out. This would be so incredible. I don't care what anybody says. I know everybody's gonna be pissed off of me because he's gonna jump so many amazing people in the lightweight division, but that's what I want. So I want Ilya to beat Oliveira. Otherwise, I'd be 100% rooting for Oliveira so we can get this super fight that we've needed for so long, especially as the Netflix deal is about to go down. Okay, let's move it on. We're getting a little distracted here. Let's move it on to topic number 2. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Now, I heard this on Ariel Helwani's show earlier today, and this is crazy. We've got Kayla Harrison, obviously, in the co-main event versus Juliana Peña. This is a amazing fight. If you guys don't know, I'm sure you guys do know. But not only is the fight going down, this is going to be a fascinating fight. Obviously, I think Kayla's biggest enemy here is this massive weight cut, but she's already done it. She's proved she can do it, and I believe she'll do it again. But I guess what they're doing, and this was apparently one of Ariel's suggestions, and they're taking him up on it, they're going to do like a sit-down face-to-face interview. You know how they do this in boxing sometimes? You have the guy in the middle.
They do it in MMA too. They've done it in MMA.
They've done it, but they don't do it very often. But like they're going to do it with Juliana. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I'll ask you to tell me what happened. You know what I mean?
No. It didn't happen yet.
No, I know. I mean, but when it does happen, like I don't know, man. I think I don't. Juliana, she kind of annoys me. I feel some of her stuff's on camera is fake and embellished, and I think it's going to turn into like they're going to really try to sell this fight, and they're going to try to trash talk. And I just don't think women are incredible trash talkers, and it just doesn't interest me.
Well, these two are okay in general, yes, but these two,
I want to watch the fight. I do want to see them fight. I do want to see Kayla win. But to sit down, I just don't. I don't see. I can see him being like, well, this is you, and that's what you think, and like with no fucking heat for the burns and no witty comebacks. I just don't see it being a very entertaining sit down.
Okay, let me fill you in a little bit on what I expect. So first of all, Juliana has been going I think actually this is on she shouldn't be doing this. She's been going off saying that Kayla Harrison is on steroids. There's never been a steroid allegation against Kayla Harrison. So I feel like, and she's an Olympian athlete. She's so serious about the sport. She's so like just hardcore about, I feel like, doing things the right way, the moral way, the ethical way. I don't really like it. I kind of find it really annoying, but I feel like she keeps beating that drum. I think it's going to be some real, I think it's really going to get real. Dude, Juliana, I get that she's annoying because like she can come off that way, but she's a yapper. Like she's not afraid to stop. And like Kayla is the best at firing back. She's not going to go out there and talk mad crap, but she's so good at listening and rebutting because you can tell like Kayla's very smart. I think this is going to be dope. And I think Kayla's just going to go off on Juliana and just be like, you suck. Like, you're terrible. You had a fluke victory against Amanda Nunes. Like, come on. You're afraid of me. You didn't want to call me out. You were trying not to. Like, it's going to be good. They're going to get under each other's skin. And, like, what I love about good face-offs, one of the greatest press buildups ever, in my opinion, as terrible as the fight. Well, it wasn't terrible, but as silly as the fight was, let's say, was Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. And the reason why it was so perfect, and this is the formula that I've said works beautifully over and over and over. You take somebody who's a crazy trash talker, but an ultimate heel, like Colby Covington. Okay, this is why the UFC needs to make Ian Gary versus Colby Covington, and then you put him against somebody who's also kind of a heel, but less of a heel, where they hate the other guy way more. So this is a great example with Conor versus Floyd. Floyd was just so disliked. Like Conor was a heel, but people loved him. And you put this guy who basically verbally bullies and batters people against this other guy who's normally just a piece of crap, bully guy, horrible guy that everybody hates. And you let this guy just attack. Like the attack dog goes after the guy that's hated. People love that. And I'm not saying Juliana is hated, but like you said, you find her annoying. I think a lot of people find her annoying. And Juliana, I actually am looking forward to seeing her fight, but like people do, she is kind of annoying on the mic. And
I think she's gonna get finished too, by the way.
Dude, I think so too, for sure. For sure, I think Kayla's gonna smash her. But you put somebody like that where Juliana's gonna be yapping and doing her smack talking, and Kayla's just gonna smash her
Oh, I
down.
see. Sure, sure,
You,
sure.
you know what I mean? So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be satisfying. I'm so happy the UFC is doing this with them, and because I wouldn't really want to say, hey, and actually Sean O'Malley and Merab would be good because they don't like each other. Merab said in a recent interview that Sean O'Malley is a cheater. He thinks that they don't fight honorably because of the tactics that they employ and stuff like that. There could be some heat there too, but I think this is the better pick. So I'm very excited. Okay, we got a couple of comments. Let me read through them. Nizal Nation is back, and he says, "Fan from Abu Dhabi, let's go." Who's ever started watching the channel off and on, but it's shaping up to be a good. Well, thank you. We are trying. We are just a fan myself. Of course, we got the famed Justin James, professional fighter, former UFC fighter, trains at Extreme Couture with Sean Strickland, amongst others, Eric Nixick as well. But yeah, we're just having fun. We've been at it for 2+ years, 2.5 years. Got a subscriber base now. Let's do a little update here. Where are we at subscriber wise? We are at 2,082. Let's go. Almost at 2,100. So thank you so much. And I've been to Abu Dhabi and Dubai and Bahrain back in the day. My uncles on my mom's side of the family, we have a family business that is headquartered in United Arab Emirates as well as Bahrain. It's like where like they sell like raw goods, bulk material, stuff like that since my grandfather. So I've been out there a couple times to visit my uncle's. Super, super cool areas. Okay, Donald Gage says just started. Yes, that is correct. Not just started. We started about 23 minutes ago. Barat says trash talk is okay, but Juliana talks for too long. Yeah, but that's the point. Is like Kayla's gonna cut her off. Kayla's like, it's gonna be so good. Trust me. Just trust me. Okay, we gotta move on to Justin's boy. Somebody I think Justin wanted to fight back in the day, but now he's become a friend of yours. And I know you've had a lot of great things to say about him. You thought when we did the show back in the day, if I'm not mistaken, you thought he was going to beat Patty. I'm pretty sure we were doing the show back then. So Jordan Leavitt not only had an amazing victory over the weekend, but he rocked the press conference. Dude, Jordan Leavitt is such a star. I actually wanted him to beat Patty. I'm glad the way it worked out, though. But Jordan Leavitt is such a star in the presser. He's so funny. He's very intellectual. He's just different. And on top of that, Justin, he was talking about how things have worked out the way that they should. And now he feels like he's finally really like maximizing, peaking. His training is taking off. He feels better than ever. He feels like just a pure killer in there. Let me turn over to you, somebody who knows Jordan, somebody who likes Jordan, somebody who's trained with him. What's your takeaway from this performance and his future?
Incredible performance, man. I think he improves to like 12 wins and 3 losses.
Yeah.
Jordan is a guy that I wanted to fight when I was in the UFC. I thought we matched up really good against each other. He's a high-level grappler. I like to consider myself a high-level grappler. But I tell you what, when he came to Extreme Couture, he's fucking good, man. Like we trained together a bunch. Dude, the guy's such a nice dude. We had a mutual friend prior, so we knew of each other. And then when he came to, then the first time that I ever met him. Like I'm in the PI and I'm laying down getting a massage and they're doing dry needling and they're asking me who do I want to fight and I was like I want to fight Jordan Leavitt. Like I think like he's kind of a goofball and I think I have a good match style against him and this and that. And I swear to God, that motherfucker was laying down on the bed next to me and he picks his head up and just like kind of looks over at me. I was just like, oh shit, hey, what's up, man? Like,
Wait, Jordan?
yes.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
he
this
was he,
story.
he was laying next to me. His face was like, in the hole, so I can just see a body laying next to me. I'm not thinking anything of it, and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I think my style matches up really well against him. And then he came to Extreme Couture, and the first couple times we went like not we didn't like slug him out, but we had
Yeah.
some really really high level grappling exchanges. And I'm humble enough to say he might even caught me in a triangle. I can't remember, but I wouldn't be surprised because he just is an incredible grappler. He's an incredible human being. He did a private lesson with my son a couple times, helping him out before wrestling season. Jordan was a high level high school wrestler. I'm so happy for him, dude. And I tell you what, like when he comes into a room, when he comes into, on the mat, like it's just, I don't know, it's just like a positive energy. You kind of gravitate towards him because he's always smiling. He's always happy. He's always trying to help everybody out.
Mm.
It's I know a lot of people are like, oh, he's gay, he shakes his ass, and that's like, dude, no, he's not, man. I believe
He's married.
he's
He's got
yeah,
kids.
he's definitely married. He definitely has kids, and I want to say he's Mormon for some reason, but I might be wrong in that. But regardless, he is a super super great guy, man, and I'm so happy that he was able to get there and get the quick finish in round one.
You know what? I think he is Mormon. Hold on. I did not know that. I'm looking this up. By the way, okay,
Pretty
so
sure he is.
let me tell you a couple things. I don't know if you got a chance to watch the press conference, but okay, hold on, wait, let me see this. Yeah, it says he's Mormon. That's crazy. All right. Jordan, to me, from the personality standpoint, and if you looked at his post press interview, that thing went on for like an hour. It normally never goes on that long. Like the reporters were loving it. Dude, he went out there, he was wearing platform shoes that had like 3.5-inch heels, which is, I think it's just hilarious. The guy, so, and people say, I don't even know, people were saying he's gay, but that's just people being idiots, right? Because he's like really comfortable in his own skin. He does like kind of goofy, weird things. He even joked that a lot of people think he's autistic, or I guess people say that he's autistic online or something like that. But again, I love everything about this guy. On top of it, he's such a rare personality type. He said he's read 20, like he's a big reader. He loves to read. Like, what other UFC fighters out there saying that? He said he's read 27 books already for 2025. That's more than a book a week up till this point. That's ridiculous. Like, and especially with his post-fight celebrations and now his skill seeming to everything resonating together, I just think this guy could be such a big star. And I thought the same thing when he fought Paddy. I'm like, if he gets the victory, it's perfect because either of these guys can take off with their atypical person. Like Paddy's a kind of a different type of character, a strange type of person. But you see how well it works for him. I think the same thing with Jordan. Man, I almost think Jordan's cooler than Paddy in a lot of ways. Like he's just so unique and different.
He's a fucking really nice guy, dude. I'll be happy to introduce you to him. He hasn't been training at Extreme though for a minute, but I hope he does come in when you're in town one day.
So what makes him so potentially talented and capable as a fighter? What do you think are the things that stand out the most about him?
Because he's a sponge. He hasn't peaked. You know what I mean? He's constantly learning. He's constantly getting better. He has like a goofy, unorthodox style of striking. I've sparred him a couple times. Never overly aggressive, but very controlled, good pace. He has unorthodox striking. He spins, and his timing is getting better. His grappling is getting better. I mean, he just subbed a guy in the first round in the UFC. I mean, that's really tough to do. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, dude, submissions are so hard to get at that level, let alone to catch one in the first round. Like, I'll be honest, like I couldn't, man. I mean, I'm not. It's just at that level. It's just you. Everyone's so good, and especially they're still fresh, and just it's a big testament to how good his grappling really is.
He even said too in the post-fight presser, he was like, "I was not expecting that." He thought he was like, "I was gonna have to tire him out and get him a little worked, and then I was gonna go for a submission in like round 2 or 3." But instead, he got it in round 1. So dope. This guy is such a star. I want to make a video just solely about him with his press conference highlights. It's like this is what we need in the UFC. You know, more guys like Justin. You talk about this all the time and how to be exciting, how to do a good call out. And I think you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think part of it is more just about breaking down your own internal walls so you can be you. And that's what Jordan does. He's just him. I even think Sean O'Malley does a great job of that. He's not like the biggest trash talker or doesn't go out there, but Sean O'Malley from the get-go has been very comfortable being himself, showing his personality, showing his sense of humor without having to go out and try and put on airs or be somebody he's not. And I think that's what Jordan has down. Paddy has this down. All the biggest stars have this down in their own way. So anyways, I just want to shine a bright light on Jordan Leavitt. I'm such a big fan of him. We got a couple comments. No Chill MMA says Jordan, the twerking Mormon Leavitt. Andrew Nance is back. Let's effing go. Nizal Nation is back as well. He said the press conference was technically be Sean O'Malley post-fight presser. Wait, what does that mean? The press conference will technically be Sean O'Malley. Well, okay, I guess for this next victory. Oh, from his last loss? Okay. Not sure. We got Big Ank MMA back. He said Leavitt recent losses are to Paddy and Chase. Yeah, Paddy and Chase Hooper. I mean, come on. He fought two. Dude, Chase Hooper is so dang good. And obviously we know Paddy is now top 8, top 7. Yeah, dude, Jordan Leavitt's the real deal. Let's go. Thank you for that comment, Big Ank. Really appreciate it. Okay, now we got to move on to the topic that I've been wanting to talk to you about all weekend. This whole thing was crazy. Okay, and I gotta make sure I get all my facts right, guys. If I say anything incorrect here, because I didn't watch the fight night, I gotta be honest, I was not super excited about it, and so I didn't watch it live when Maycee Barber didn't come out and all this stuff. But I want to ask you, Justin. So apparently, it began with Maycee Barber missing weight, if I'm not mistaken. Even her opponent. Hold on, let me just look this up as I'm talking about it. 1 second. So I believe that she missed weight. She was being called out. One second. She was being called out by her opponent, Aaron Blanchfield, I think prior, saying that, oh, she's not going to show up, this and that. And then she missed weight. They still had the fight. And then she had a seizure right before coming out and she got pulled away. What's your take on all this? Because to me, from my perspective, I'm just like, yeah, well, of course she couldn't fight. All this is crazy. But then from your perspective, from the fighter's perspective, she missed weight. Then she had this, like, what do you think was going on?
Could have had a bad weight cut. You know, she came out. I listened to one of her interviews today, talking about how this is the first time she ever missed weight. She miscalculated her weight cut, and you know, when you're trying to get down to that weight, I mean, it's not common to have a seizure, but this isn't the first time I've heard of that happening. The next day, if you're, you know, depending on your weight, you could have such a bad weight cut. You can't do an IV. Well, if you do, I can't remember exactly what the rule was. I think when I was in the UFC, you couldn't use an IV, but now you have to disclose it. You know, maybe just so the UFC gives you like rehydration supplements, and sometimes you'll get you know, like an upset stomach, but maybe she had a harder reaction than that, man. I don't know Maycee Barber personally, so I don't want to make any bold accusations. I mean, this situation could be as simple as just a botched weight cut.
Okay, I don't want you to make any accusations, but this is kind of why I asked you about it, because you remember when we had the whole Armin debacle when he pulled out of the UFC event back in January. You kind of, from your experience, you're like, you know what? I think this was just a failed weight cut. So you basically are saying the same thing here. I guess the thing that, look, and I'm not trying to make any accusations, any false claims. Like, I don't know what happened, but I guess I was just kind of curious with the narrative that was built. It's like she was already being called out, saying her Aaron Blanchfield didn't think she was going to show up. Then she missed weight, and then at the last minute she doesn't show up. And I see the image of her on the stretcher. But does any of this seem a little bit? I have no idea if it is or not, right? Like, maybe there's multiple witnesses to the seizure, this and that. But is any of this, like, from the fighter's perspective, seem fishy to you, or no? You just think like, nah, this makes total sense, and this is likely exactly what happened.
Well, the problem is this, like when you're fighting at the Apex, in which I have 5 times, you are surrounded by like 5 people, including commissioners. So you have a commissioner that follows you around everywhere you go. If you go to the bathroom, they
Got
go
it.
into the bathroom with you. If you walk out the hall, they go out, you go out. You can't go outside. You can't leave the dressing room. Actually, you might. I can't remember. Maybe you can walk in the hallway. But you're in this big ass dressing room. It's a fucking beautiful dressing room, and you got the commission there, and you have your team there. So when it comes out that she had a seizure, like there's witnesses to that. There's this
Got it.
hearsay, and I think they need to ask the commission, like, because I don't see Maycee Barber or any other fighter faking a seizure.
Okay.
I wouldn't know how to do that. Like if you're
Right.
like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, can you imagine? Like if you go to fake a seizure and you just botch the fake seizure and you're just like, oh, and it's like, well, that's not really how people seize. So, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
people seen this. The commission saw the seizure, and I really think the commission has to say something about it. And the commission either needs to go to her defense and say, look, we had one of our officers in there, because they will. They have an officer assigned to you no matter where you are. They have
Okay.
to follow you to make sure you're not taking like like caffeine and shit like that, which is fucking stupid. But regardless, she had this guy that is going to be within arm's reach of her at all times. He needs to be questioned. And if she had a seizure, I mean, it's an unfortunate circumstance, man. But if they're trying to make a lie up of some sort, the commission, you know, has to, you know, be honest about it. They have nothing. They have nothing in play per se.
Again, and I'm not saying that this was any sort of shenanigans or whatnot. I'm only bringing this up because when the Armin Sarukian story broke, I just took him at his word. Back injury, this and that. And so you pointed out from your experience, hey, like this doesn't add up. And I think a ton of people, including Marab, who made a statement recently talking about Arman missing weight as well. I think you were right on the money. So that's the only reason why I'm asking. But you're probably
Well,
100% right.
this
Yeah,
is, sorry to interrupt you, but there
go
are
for it.
it's a totally different situation because he
Okay.
said he had a back injury. All right, I
Right.
can say that I have a back injury too, and I'm not. I'm fine right now. But you can't say you seizured without people seeing, you know, especially in this environment she was in. So a back injury we can fake and never find out. A seizure, witnesses are going to see that happen. And if a commission sees a seizure happen, it's his right, it's his duty, not his right, but it's his duty to make sure the fight doesn't happen, because obviously the fighter is something's wrong. So there is a there. I don't think I see what you're saying in the comparison, but I don't think it's the same circumstance.
Totally. Okay. And that's why I asked. That's all I wanted to know. We shall see what happens next for Maycee Barber. That's pretty serious, though, with the seizure. And we wish her the best in her recovery. Okay. We got a couple of comments before we move on to the next topic. Donald Gage says, I heard O'Malley is really dialed in, quit weed and all this stuff. Yep. That we already talked about. And Nizal Nation says, hot take. So let's hear your thoughts on this, Justin. If Sean O'Malley loses again, he will disappear and come back in a year or so at featherweight. What do you think?
I don't know why he's not that big. He's really, really thin. Like, I mean, his frame is really thin. I don't think he has a hard time making weight. Um, I mean, I think featherweight's not a good look for him right now. I mean, he's going to beat Volkanovski. Uh, I just no. I think he needs to stay at bantamweight. He needs to know his role, and I think he needs to go fight some contender. Maybe he fights Umar next, and then maybe another fight, and see how long Marab can hold on as the champ. And if a new champion comes in town, he can set himself up for a title shot because they're not going to. If he loses again, they're not going to give him a third time. That doesn't happen very often. I think Max Holloway and Volkanovski, they fought 3 times, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so but just because the fights were so close, but Marab dominated him so much in the first one, it's going to be hard to justify. Unless it's a split decision, and so a lot of people think Sean wins when he loses. I mean, that's the only way I think a third fight could happen. But I think he's going to stay at bantamweight regardless.
Well, I think what you said, if they do put him, let's say against Umar, let's say it seems like they want Corey Sandhagen for the next title shot. So whatever happens there, I guess we'll see. But if he goes against Umar and then he loses, then maybe I could see him moving up because he'd be so far from the title shot and he'd want to get one more shot, might bulk up, move up to 145. We shall see. Sean O'Malley is must-see TV, so let's go. I'm hoping that he wins, not just because of my bet, but I think he's dope atop that division. But if Marab wins, that's why this fight is so cool. If Marab wins, his stock is going to go even higher. People are already saying he's the best bantamweight, you included. Now, what can people say? And then he's going to fight Corey Sandhagen. I mean, it's a cool outcome in any way if you're a fan. All right, moving on to Justin's favorite story, Jones versus Aspinall. Now, apparently, I actually think this is really happening. So let me give you guys a little bit of background. Jones went on this show over the weekend or last week or something that I watched the entire thing. It was actually a really good interview. It's this guy, he cuts your hair while he interviews you and he gives you like a fade and lines you up and stuff. And John Jones, man, I feel like public sentiment has so unfairly shifted on John Jones. Like all the new fans just hate him so much and just clown him, make fun of him, do all this stuff. And it's like, you guys forget the championship mentality that he has, the things that he's done in the sport, the legacy that he's built, and everybody's just discounting it. If they became if they're a Pandemic fan, for example, they're just like, oh, he's ducking Tom, he's ducking Tom, he's ducking Tom. That's all people say, right? So people are really clowning him. You listen to that interview, you really get to hear the true John Jones, all the depth, his intellect, his opinion on things was really fascinating. Anyways, he didn't really address Aspinall or the talks of him fighting Aspinall whatsoever during that interview. Like, I was listening, I was waiting to see, and he was like, I don't know what's really in the future for me in this sport. Like, he's being very elusive and aloof about it. Well, he finally had something come out over the weekend where he was speaking in Thailand to a group of people, and somebody asked him what's going on with this fight. And what he said was, he's like, listen, the UFC and we've come to an agreement where I'm not at liberty to disclose what's going on with me and Tom. That's what he said. That could mean a million different things. Obviously, it could still mean that the fight's not happening. But Bisping, who talked about this on the show, is of the opinion that he thinks this fight is happening and the UFC is just biding its time to announce the fight. I know you hate this topic and I know you're over this fight. I only want to ask you one thing, and that is, do you think that this fight is now actually happening, and perhaps this entire delay was just John insisting maybe to the UFC to say, hey, I'm accepting it, I'm going to do it, but on the condition that you do not tell Tom the date until this time. So to like give him less time to prepare, make him more antsy, play mental. Like, is that what you think is happening, or do you think it's actually been a negotiation back and forth up till now?
Dude, I don't know, man. Who cares? No, I mean, the fight's probably not going to happen.
Oh,
Maybe like, I don't know. I could see it happening once everybody, because there's still people that do want to see this. I probably won't even watch it, just because out of spite.
Yes, you will.
That
You will watch it.
I mean, if it's inconvenient, I won't. I don't know, man. It's just like I like John Jones, man. I've seen him in his heyday, man. But
Me too.
this whole bouncing around and wishy-washy answers, it's just like, dude, it's just sad, man. It's like I guess as the old school fighter that anytime, anywhere, and I know he's already been there and done that. And if he just retired before all these negotiations, or when Tom asked to square up with him, I don't know if you remember that interview when Tom's like, "Hey, you want to
Yeah.
square up for a picture?" And he's like,
Yes.
"No, dude, I don't want to do that." And I mean, at that point, okay, hey, man, he's retired, and then Tom won't be asking that shit. Go on, live your life, dude. You're a millionaire. You're gonna live great. Like, what do you? The thing that bothers me about the situation, the reason I don't care about it so much, or I don't want to support the fight happening, is because he's holding so many guys up that deserve a title shot, that deserve to be the UFC champ right now. John Jones is just like he's like a kid that's just trying to hold on to this belt for as long as he can until the UFC takes it away to say that he was the champion for 5,000 days or whatever. It's not 5,000, but whatever the length is, and be like, oh yeah, and talk about how he never really lost the belt either. He got taken away because of his drug allegations, and I don't know. It's just he's just taking opportunity away from so many other fighters, and I hate supporting it by talking about it.
Got it. I totally get that, the perspective you're coming from. And I think a lot of people are pissed off too on that front. I think that that petition now is like 170,000 signatures or 180,000 signatures to have John Jones stripped. Look, I am also getting frustrated. I've also made a video saying exactly that. But now that it's actually coming around and people seem to be saying, hey, this might actually get announced pretty soon and it's probably going to go down in November. It's probably happening at Madison Square Garden. I can't lie. Like, I got excited when I heard that. And I want, like, even though I'm saying I'm sick of it and I don't care anymore, I do care, I guess, deep down. That's the reality. And anyways, I will stop talking about it. But let's go to the final topic for today's show. And this one is a little bit crazy. I went back and forth on whether or not we should even talk about it because I don't know too much what to say, but it's all over the place and it's all over the headlines. So, do you know what happened this weekend with BJ Penn?
I know he got arrested again.
Okay, so well, not only did he get arrested, he got arrested. There's footage that came out of the police in his house, talking to him on his bed, and then eventually handcuffing him, taking him out of the house. I guess he was like attacking people in his home or family members or whatnot. But he got arrested, and then I think he made bail, and then he jumped bail. So he made the bail payment, and he's apparently on the run as we speak. Hold on, let me check this right now. BJ Penn. I'm gonna double check if that's still current or not. Yeah, I'm not sure, but anyways, this is what I heard last night on a YouTube video. So don't 100% quote me, but that is my contention. I guess this is really more a bigger conversation. I don't know. I don't have too much to say on the BJ Penn situation of him being on the run in particular and dealing with all these like issues of thinking his bodies have been occupied by clones and different things like that. But yeah, I think the broader question on this that this shines a light on is like, Justin, what do you think? What can the UFC do? What can gyms do? What can fighters do with their fellow, like, your fellow friends who are also fighters? And maybe, hey, like you need to, like, what are some solutions that we could have going forward to prevent situations like this from happening? Is it stepping in and saying, hey man, you've had enough fights, you gotta stop, a la like a Tony Ferguson at this point? What do you think the UFC and gyms can do better on this front?
I don't really think there's anything to do at all, to be honest. And people may not like that take, but here's the thing. I'm the fighter. You're not going to tell me when I'm ready to stop. We understand things can happen. We understand CTE. We understand brain damage. We understand what we're doing. We don't. I don't need another man telling me that I've had enough. Now, I mean, BJ Penn is going to pay for the damage he's taken for the rest of his life. He has serious brain damage, and guys. I mean, look at Muhammad Ali. I mean, he had, look, man, he was so fucked up, and you have all these guys, and some people have died in the ring. But again,
Yeah.
we know what we're signing up for, and it's again, you're gonna have a commission, or a governing body or the UFC tell these. No, man, as a man, listen, I know what I'm signing up for. and I will stop when I'm ready, and nobody else is going to tell me when that time is. Unfortunately, if I do, I mean, it's not like we don't know. If we keep going, it just, I mean, you and I have talked about it, why I need to retire because I still talk. I still talk good, essentially, as I'm stuttering my words right there. But before I get to that point of CTE, and you know what, I get it. That's why I'm slowing down. But some guys get it and they're like, fuck it, I don't care if I get CTE because the
Right.
rush you have as a fighter is like nothing you can do. There's nothing like knocking somebody out or winning a fight. There's nothing like it. I've tried a lot of crazy different things, man. There's nothing like it. And guys will chase that high their whole life. If it wasn't for commentary, if it wasn't for the 10-7, I mean, bet your ass I would have fought at least two more times already this year.
Right.
And I still might because again, there's nothing that compares to it. And there's a chance like I understand that every time I step in the ring, I'm putting everything on the line. But again, it's not for anybody to tell me when. I can have logical conversations with my friends and people who care about me, and I appreciate that. But I don't need a stranger telling me when my time is up.
Okay. Fair enough. I
So,
think
but
that.
but again, it does, but there is the other side of the coin where you have guys like Muhammad Ali, where you have guys like BJ Penn, where you have guys die in the ring because they've taken too much damage. But at the end of the day, and it sucks and it's sad for our loved ones, but we know what we signed up for, and we know what the possibilities that could happen. And unfortunately, BJ Penn is suffering a lot.
All right. Well, that was our final topic for today. And I just want to hear Justin's thoughts on this story. It's obviously sad. It's like a lot of stuff going on. I don't really know a ton of I can contribute myself, but I want to hear Justin's take. So thank you for that. And guys, thank you so much. We got a couple of last minute comments that I'll post, and then we're going to wrap it up. Barat says, I got a concussion 6 years ago. I'm completely destroyed and could never imagine how bad different symptoms could be. Oh, I did not know that. That is a bummer. KF also says, yep, CTE is sneaky. It shows up 10 years later. Donald Gage talking about our Jones discussion. I can't stand Jones. He's as fake as Kobe. Yo, he is not as fake as Kobe. Don't put him in that category whatsoever. That is totally unfair. Kobe is in his own category. And Barat says, people gonna care if it gets announced. I mean, look, I want to not care because I'm so annoyed. It's just like I'm angry, so I want to not care anymore. But the truth is, when Bisping made that video, I was like, yo, I do care. All right, Western says thanks, and thank you guys for joining. You guys make the show what it is. We are continuing to grow steadily, slowly but surely. 2,082 subs. If you haven't liked the stream, 2,083 subs. Let's go. Got another sub.
Let's go.
If you haven't liked the stream yet, make sure to click that like button. It really does help tremendously. Last time we got, I think, like a record high number of likes because I think I asked a couple of times. So when you guys do that, it helps a lot, helps keep growing the channel. We can keep trying to do a very, very high quality show. We're going to try and implement a lot of new changes and additions to the channel, basically starting next week because my schedule is about to massively slow down. So we're going to get a lot of new stuff, a lot of merch. Finally, the merch company that we're using is terrible and it keeps glitching. So it's a whole thing, but we're going to get some dope. So I love designing merch. So we're going to have a lot of cool stuff. Some of it is, of course, going to be featuring Justin Guitar Hero James and some of his epic moments in the UFC. So anyways, that is it. Thank you guys so much for joining, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take it easy.